Welcome everybody to day 3, one of my favorite days ever. So this is the solar plexus chakra. This is the activation of I am. The solar plexus is your fire chakra. So, it's the right in your belly, your stomach where you feel literally heat coming through. This chakra has to do with self-belief. It's your internal sun. It's your warrior energy. It's your transformation energy, right? Because think about how and you can feel this as we evolve through it. So the root, if you're just going through your days and the days you've experienced in doing this now when we get up to this energy, this feels a little more freeing. This feels a little more like something's activating, like something's brewing here. Like all that stuff that we have down in the lower 2 chakras are attached to other people, right? Now this is about me, 100%. This is like selfish on fleek. Self-care, self-love, to the nth level. This is your spiritual adulthood, right? This is where wisdom starts kicking in because your inner child wants to live in the sacral and the root, right? Where the family didn't support you. Like on my live, I swear yesterday's live, I tell you what, because we had a sacral chakra, activation, literally everybody on that live needed sacral chakra. It was all sacral chakra issues. Because like people were like writing in the chat box, I have a hard time with this, and it like to the nth degree. And people don't normally do that to me, where they're just like dumping. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll just like, and I was like, whoa. But when we get into this energy, right, we're no longer living in the energies of what was. Even if we are in the what was, this is where we have personally turned pain into power, right? The transformation, right? Where you activate that and you do transform. But like I said, last year was like, it just hit me where it was like, stop turning pain into power. You got enough power. You got that.
Yeah.
You got the cape,
Yeah.
just put the cape down and realize, like I was saying yesterday, now we step out of ego and we stop thinking, well, I do this, or whatever ego thought you have, because I'm beautiful, like anything outside of yourself other than soul that says like I am, like period, right? Because all our circumstances could change, right? Being beautiful, yes, to a degree, depending on how well you take care of yourself as well, to a degree, can last forever, but in the same breath, you don't know what can happen in life to you, right? You see so many different stories of people being burn victims, or you know what I'm saying? So I feel like for everything that I have that's outside of me, that I feel like does add to my value of myself, but it still is out of myself, whether it's the vanity, the cars, the financial security, the job that I've been able to attain, all those things outside of me, they are representations that help me feel better, and I have to acknowledge that. But I also, how many times have we lost something and then start all over again, and our self-esteem takes a blow, right? This is your self-esteem chakra, right? How do I feel about me in all moments, and am I being true to my personal power? So the primary fears of this chakra is the fear of rejection, the criticism, looking foolish, and failing to meet one's responsibilities. All fears related to physical appearance, such as fear of obesity, baldness, or aging. I think that's a societal one, right? That's why we're so big into the beauty industry. Fear of aging, that's huge. Like you can sell a whole product line on that.
Yeah.
Fears that other will discover our secrets. So it's like, this is the I am. So if you don't step into I am and you have all these skeletons and things that you feel like other people can't know, think about when you operate in that atmosphere, you then don't really get to be yourself. You're like a surface level stuff. That's why they have all these terms of like shadow self, because there's all these selves that we build. All these human words and ways that we describe things are just ways we've come up to explain what we do to ourselves. We do that to ourselves. We create the layers, we create the onions, because we step out of self. And it's really a training too, right? There's a societal one, right? There's the school, the education system, the book, what is the book? Conversations with the Devil. You ever heard of that one? By Napoleon Hill. He's the one that wrote Think and Grow Rich.
Wow.
Yeah, so Conversations with the Devil is, he basically, it's like he sits down and has a conversation with the devil, and the devil sharing with him how he manipulates people. And he talks about like the education system, religion, like the couple of main vehicles he uses to confuse people, because they always say, if you're confused, what are we doing here? We're gaining clarity, right?
Yeah.
You thyself. If you confuse people, then they don't know what to do. They don't know what is true, and they don't have their internal compass to say, what did we just say earlier? But God, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to crown chakra.
Yeah. Yeah.
All this shit is great, but God, right? Now
Yeah.
we don't have time for all that low level shit, and we know the difference. So when we're operating in a world that's all about energy, we have the choice to start saying, like in the beginning with those visuals, where your energy is literally getting pulled from you. When people are around you that are energy suckers, they're literally pulling from the energy center. We just talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
It's all the visual, right? So we know it's happening. It is happening now that we can kind of see it and place it.
Mhm.
When we start stepping up into these powers, that's when you're like, when you step out into the world, you start learning how to just maintain your power and keep your power, pull your power back.
Yeah.
um but that's really big for this chakra for sure. So your primary strengths of this chakra is self-esteem, self-respect, self-discipline, ambition, the ability to generate action, the ability to handle a crisis, the courage to take risks, generosity, ethics, and strength of character. Now, this is the thing that I think is very beautiful for a lot of people, and we talked about this in the beginning, which is, even though you turned your pain into power, that's better than turning your pain into pain,
Mm.
right? The people who then choose to suffer, to be poor, to be sick, to be whatever, the things we choose to live in a suffering world. Because when you look at a certain demographic, if you will, like poor people are typically more sick.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, right? So there's these different things that are happening that when we begin to open our spiritual eyes, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so I do know how to pour into my friends when they're experiencing a crisis
Yeah.
without being injecting more fear into the situation, or doubt, or not having that ability to speak that life over that person, and the truth of, like, we do have power of life and death in our tongues, and in our ability to uplift other people. Like, that's what empowerment is. You're literally speaking life over people and giving them a little bit, like she talked about yesterday, a little bit of your prana to
Yeah.
keep going. And you're sometimes you're like, I don't know what that was. And it's like a little, it's like your angels, what they do to us. And I have a story we're gonna read today. What they do to us, which I read it in the group. You remember that story with
Oh,
Ruthie?
oh yes, the woman who was her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. That's good.
Um, yeah, so our angels do it to us. The more we're tapped in and tuned into them, our ancestors, our guides, they can give us life when we're open to their energy,
Yeah.
right? So the sacred truth of this chakra is honoring yourself, right? Because if you have self-esteem, you honor yourself and you acknowledge your wants and your desires. So this is shining in your light, your willpower activation, your personal power and relations to the outside world. It completes the physical trilogy of the human energy system. So remember, your heart chakra is what separates the physical from the spiritual. This is literally the fence. The fence,
Yeah.
heart is on the fence. It's on in both worlds, but it's trying to lead you and activate you up to here. Like, go to your throat, speak your mind, stay in your third eye. And sometimes you gotta close your eyes and look at the situation with eyes closed. And then your crown chakra activation, which is the but God. Anything is possible, right? And the connectedness to spirit.
Yeah.
Um, Also, your intuition. This is a center for activating that intuition. So the body centers that it affects the most are your abdomen, your stomach, your upper intestines, your liver, your gallbladder, your kidney, your pancreas, your spleen, your middle spine, and your adrenal glands.
Mm-hmm.
That resonate in some way?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yes, yes. Um, so if you are tend to be a little off, which you talked about this a little bit, so it's your trust, you have fear or intimidation, um, trouble caring for yourself or others, responsibility for making decisions, you have the sensitivity to criticism and your own personal honor. So this is also relating to and understanding yourself. Again, we're just gonna have to keep repeating. It's just know yourself. Know
Yeah.
yourself. This is the activation of know myself enough to know my triggers, the shit that really fucks with me, right? Because to a degree, this is what slows us down, is being in the environments that are the triggering environments. And at one point, I think yesterday we kind of covered this. We talked about the songs we grew up listening to were very toxic, and the beliefs that they subconsciously were really creating in us. Because I know for me, a lot of years I was like a teen, and even there were even some years where I was like 9 when certain songs came out, where I'm like, damn, I was really singing that as a 9-year-old. Like, damn, and creating our beliefs about love and our beliefs about um, how to honor ourselves, or just love, the way we think about love. Love is pain, right? Salute. Um, so when we get into this, now we're activating all of those things to understand why we are the way that we are, and transmuting and transforming them into the positive experiences, but also the peace. Like, I am, yes, I've been through that, but like, I am still just amazing. I'm an amazing person, no matter what, even when I make mistakes, because I'm supposed to do that, right? You're activating your wisdom, so your mind is speaking in levels of wisdom to itself, and not the self-pity, the doubt, the beating yourself up, the questioning yourself, thinking. And I caught myself just now before we got on this, where I started to think of what somebody else was thinking, and it wasn't like of me, it was just like in general. Like, it's kind of like if you give someone something, and you, or like, it's like assuming how someone feels, and regardless if that's how they feel or not, it's not our job to really care, right? Because you need to care about, well, what do I think about that? And that's the energy that I'm going to show up in, and how that's received or how they feel about it is not my responsibility. Salud. Okay, so let me read this story to you, because I think this is a beautiful story and I love it. And this is also when we choose spirit over the illusions of physical circumstances, which is huge, right? Choosing spirit over illusions of physical circumstances. And I believe that's why so many of us are able to push forward and to keep moving, because we've literally done that, but in a not spirit-centered way, right? We learned how to overlook our circumstances of where we've been, whether it's poverty, whatever circumstances, and we chose to transform and overcome that and turn it into power. But when we shift that up a little bit, and we just add a little bit of spirit to it, and like, God, I want to know deeper levels of myself, so I can know you, so that when I look in the mirror, there's no questioning of me being a child of God. And when I look in the mirror, I'm more than not telling myself that most of the time. I'm not allowing myself to get into areas of depression. And like, last year was my first year of really seeing how it was to, like, it almost felt like all the fruits of my labor paid off of the work I was doing with myself, because there were plenty days. And it really also was because of the relationship that I was in. It wasn't allowing me to grow in the ways that I needed to grow. It was stifling me. There was a lot of conflict all the time, miscommunication, money problems. There's just so many different issues that were just getting manifesting themselves to show me I was misaligned. But those things don't allow you, they stifle your potential to grow and to expand. So it's realizing, like, we can experience joy and happiness and abundance in a flow, right?
Yeah.
We go down to those lower chakras, and we kind of just don't trust life a little bit. Kind of like when you talked about having a salary raise, and you're thinking to yourself, what if I lose it? Opposed to, yes, God, come through, 7 figures, where you at, right? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different energy. That's like a, yes, God, I pray for this shit. Yes, and I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had learned last year, which is like, we can stay in that vibration. We can stay there. And does that mean things aren't going to come our way? No, because we already know how to transform and transmute them. And our amount of time is when, to me, success in your journey, period, and just being human, is not allowing yourself to go to those dark spaces and stay there for a long time. You're bounce back, right? We're not doing buffers. We have a new B word. Your bounce back time is shorter. So maybe before you took 2 weeks to get your shit together because you were so affected and you couldn't refocus. And then now you 2 days. I was on a clubhouse with, I hope you can join tomorrow, by the way, too, at 1:30. But Erica, she's really great. Erica, her page is Erica's Most Wanted, but she was on the clubhouse, and she was like, I came to a point in my life where I have a contract with myself where I have to give myself a time period. Like, I give myself 2 days to just feel down. If you're
Yeah.
feeling something happened to you, give yourself 2 days, because then we give ourselves permission for a little bit of self-pity, right? And
Yeah.
just that moment to not even just for the self-pity, but to experience the emotions of being human,
Yeah. Sit
right?
in it. Yeah.
Exactly. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about we we literally keep reliving the energy of the moment over and over again, right? And sometimes we do that for years. Think about how many people hold grudges for years, or don't forgive somebody for years and don't talk to them or whatever. And it's like, nah, we got to move past that, because just like what came up yesterday, where it's like you haven't created the space to forgive the person, you're carrying weight and it's weighing you down. And when you start to feel the freedom, that's when you're like, okay, what else needs to go? That's how I feel. What else needs to go? Because I'm
Yeah.
ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me read this story, because I think it's a phenomenal story, and just representing the fact that our guides are always with us, and that they desire so much for us to see our power. They desire so much for us to see our light, because when we start moving in this space, it gives them permission to pour into us,
Yes.
right? The key thing I want you to take away from this is a choosing spirit over illusions of the physical circumstances. And that's allowing spirit into your sun to pour
Yeah.
into your energy center, right? I met a woman named Ruth while I was conducting a week-long workshop in Mexico. Ruth was staying at the same hotel. She was not part of my workshop. She was wheelchair bound due to a crippling arthritis, a case about as extreme as I've ever seen. One morning, I got up uncharacteristically early and went out to the patio with a cup of coffee to make notes for my lecture that day. I noticed Ruth sitting by herself, listening to classical music with an old tape recorder. I had met her the day before, but this morning I couldn't stop staring at her, although I didn't think she noticed because she had her back to me. I was wondering how she coped with her terribly crippled body, which had also become obese because of her inability to move. Suddenly, she turned her head, smiled, and said, "You're wondering how I managed to live in this body, aren't you?" I was so stunned that I couldn't cover my tracks. "You caught me, Ruth," I said. "That's exactly what I was thinking." "Well, come on over here and I'll tell you." As I pulled my chair up to hers, this 75-year-old woman said to me, "You like New Age music?" I nodded and she said, "Good. I'll put this tape on while I tell you about myself." With Kataro playing in the background, this remarkable Jewish woman told me her story. "I was widowed when I was 38 years old, left with 2 daughters to support and few ways to do it. I became the most manipulative person you could ever imagine. I never stole anything, but I came close to it. When my older daughter was 22, she joined a Buddhist community. I raised my girls in a traditional Jewish household in New York City, and she enters a Buddhist community. Every time she came over to visit me, I asked her, 'How could you do this to me? After all I've given up for you, how could you?' We must have had the conversation 100 times. Then one day she looked at me and asked me, 'Mom, are my clothes dirty? Am I unclean in some way? Am I doing anything at all that offends you?' I said, 'You must be on drugs. That's it. They've got you on drugs.' She responded, 'Yes, I've tried drugs.' So you know what I told her then? I said, 'Get me some.' And she did. She brought me some LSD. I was 55 years old and I dropped acid. I nearly fell out of my chair. I could hardly picture her taking LSD. She continued, 'Do you believe in angels?' 'Yes, of course,' I said. 'Good, because that's what happened to me next. I took the LSD and I had an out of body experience. I found myself floating above my body, lighter than air itself. And I met this lovely being who said she was my angel. She complained to me, 'Ruthie, Ruthie, do you know how difficult it is to be your angel?' I said I'd never thought about it. And my angel said, 'Let me show you what you look like to me.' And then she pointed to my double. Only my double was completely tied up in thousands of rubber bands. My angel said, 'That's how you look to me.' Each one of those rubber bands is a fear that is controlling you. You have so many fears that you can never hear me trying to talk to you, to tell you that I've got everything under control." Then my angel said, "Here's a pair of scissors. Why don't you cut all of those rubber bands and free yourself?" And that's just what I did. I clipped every single one of them, and with each one I cut, I felt this unbelievable surge of energy come into my body. Then my angel said, "Now don't you feel better?" I told her that I felt lighter than air and happier than I'd ever felt in my life. I couldn't stop laughing. My angel said, "You're going to have to get back into your body now, but before you do, I have to show you something." She showed me my future, and I saw myself full of arthritis. She couldn't tell me why I would have to endure this condition, just that I would have to. But she said she would be with me every step of the way. Then she put me back into my body. I told my daughter everything that happened, and both of us laughed almost continually for 2 months. She and I have been very close ever since that experience. When this arthritic condition began 10 years ago, I thought, oh, well, this isn't being crippled. I was far more crippled when I could walk. I was always afraid of being alone, of taking care of myself, that I wanted to keep my daughters near me so I would never have to take care of myself. But after that experience, I never felt afraid again. I believe that my physical condition is a way to remind me never to have fear. Now I talk to my angel every day, and I still laugh more each day, now more than I ever did before. I love that story because it's real, right? But it goes to show how they're always trying to communicate with us, and they're always trying to connect with us. And beyond that, the things that we do to limit that connection and that communication. I'm gonna read one more thing that stuck out to me. When we reorder our lives, we reorder our lives when we choose spirit over illusions of physical circumstances. With each choice we make, we either become more involved in the illusory physical world, or we invest energy into the power of spirit. Each of the 7 chakras represents a different version or manifestation of this essential lesson. Each time we choose to enhance our internal power, we limit the authority of the physical world over our bodies, our lives, our health, our minds, and our spirit. So this is a super powerful chakra. Obviously, this is what I was talking about yesterday. I'm like, you ever saw Dragon Ball Z? I feel like this is when you feel like, oh, like you just take your hands out. You could probably do that. I'm sure there's someone that teaches that somewhere, of like some man, like people, you can manipulate your energy with your hands if you really believe in that. Like that's Reiki, right? The manipulation of energy you can't see. So I'm gonna play one more thing. But what comes up for y'all? Because I have one more thing to play. Where it's Carolyn Miss. She gets into it too. She I think it's great the way that she breaks it down as well. But what comes up for you? Or what hits where you're like, yes?
The whole, I mean, I think we touched on this a little bit yesterday. That whole I am, just even hearing that hits for me. And I understand why more now after yesterday's meditation and the visions, that I saw during that meditation, and just realizing that I have not been who I am my entire life. Really, really realizing that, and that last night when we hung up the phone, I was just so overwhelmed with just gratefulness. I just sat here and cried, and I was like praying to God and just saying thank you. And I just felt like I could just hear, like, because I tell a lot of times, like, I feel tired. It's, I won't say it out loud, but I'm like, I'm fatigued. And I could just hear clear as day, like, you're so tired because you're so busy trying to please everybody else. You're so busy before you make a decision trying to understand what the other person wants for you. And I've done so long in my life that just making my own decisions is like, uncomfortable. But now I just watched the movie One Night in Miami. And so we're talking about solar plexus, and as Muhammad Ali was like, doing his parts, I was like, he is the epitome of, because he was like, listen, I'm everything. You know what I mean? And I was watching the movie like, I'm about to be like that. And not even in an arrogant way, but just like he was unapologetic, like, this is who I am.
Yes.
Period. And I'm so ready to be there. And I feel a lot closer to that than I ever have. And
You're there. And again, this is the other thing. That's so perfect. You said that real quick because you know I have to cut you off in the middle of that sentence. Wait.
Yeah.
Illusion. This is the other thing with this chakra. The illusion that healing takes a long time holds considerable authority in our culture. You have literally in your mind, just right now, in real time, separated where you are to where you want to go, but you are that person, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, when you wake up, be Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I have to talk out loud to myself.
Yeah.
I have to look in the mirror and say I love myself. I have to get insane about my self-care and my self-belief because I've spent my life just like you telling myself what I'm not. I hear the thoughts. I hear
Yeah.
the worthiness. I hear those things, but I've worked to a point where I'm using my power of transformation to say not today,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of like when they say you're going to feel the fear but do it anyways.
Right.
Right? And that's how you build the confidence. So you are there. Like tomorrow, there. There's no
Yeah.
separation. It's just in your mind. Sometimes what I think is that we have, again, and I feel like we have talked about this, or I don't know, I feel like we have, maybe we haven't, which is like you feel like that perfect moment is gonna hit you where it's gonna be like, I'm there. I feel like I'm there and I'm being Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali may have not been really there.
Right.
Like he had to do that, and I'm so glad you brought him up because I've talked about him so much because he is like the perfect example of
That's
affirming yourself.
that's what I was thinking watching that. Like,
He
that's so
wasn't being egotistical, he was literally amping himself up
yeah.
so he could believe it, and he
Yep.
had to do it in real time in front of his opponents.
Yep.
I'm number one.
Yeah.
Looking them in their eyes, I'm number one. Because that would then intimidate them because everybody has negative thoughts. So if I'm
Right.
sitting in front of you, you're my opponent, and I'm telling you I'm number one, I'm going to impede on your ability to then believe in yourself. Now you're going to question yourself because you're like, this
Yeah.
nigga crazy. Why
Right.
is he talking to himself, right? If he was anybody else on the street, a crackhead, you'd be like, he is crazy. All he do is walk around and talk about he is this, he is that, right? But he had to affirm himself so that he did believe, and such a perfect example. I'm so you gave me chills when you brought him up because I talk about him all the time. He is a
Oh my
great
goodness.
example.
And I didn't realize he was only 22 when he became the champ.
What?
He was only
He's gonna find
22 years
himself. For
old. Yes. So I watched that with my son, and
real?
I was like, see him at 22 because he's 18, and he's like
Mhm.
really coming into himself. I was like, if you can get that now, Christian,
Yes. Right.
get that now. Because
Yes.
I'm saying, I was like,
Yes.
he was like, yeah, he was kind of smiling. I was like, I'm so serious.
Yes. For real. For
Yeah.
real. And the
Hmm.
generations that are coming up, they have less constraints and they desire to have less constraints. Why? Which is why I feel like they're so difficult to raise in many ways, where we kind of
Yeah.
just have to let them be and
Yeah.
support them. Let them lead their lives to a degree. We're like, what you trying to do, sis? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
some say so. Our parents were like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. And so my mom thinks I'm nuts because I tell her all the time, he needs something like, this is his journey, mom. I'm not here to tell him this is Christian's journey. I'm here. He has a voice. So like even when we're in the doctor's office or whatever, the doctor will be asking me questions. I'm like, Christian, I want you to, because I want him to feel comfortable using his voice. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And I say it to him all the time. He'll ask me questions and I'll say, I'll tell you what I think, but especially now that he's 18, this is your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do what resonates with you. I'm going to tell you what I would do or what I did, but I'm always saying to him, this is your journey. Use your voice, like believe in yourself, like all the things I could be telling myself,
Yeah.
what I'm pouring into him, and to see him evolve into this like confident. I said something. Oh, when I went in his room and he was meditating, I was like, "Oh, we about to be whole and healed." He was like, "And wealthy." He was like, "We're about to run this whole world, ma. The whole world is ours." I was like, "Yes."
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So activating this is exactly that, and that's beautiful that you're doing it with him because I think as great as we do as parents, I think to some degree, even in our best, our kids are picking up messages because it's not just us that's influencing them.
That's right.
um but giving them that space and pouring into them in that
Mm-hmm.
way. I've seen that with my son Levi. I swear I'm such a different parent with him. Like I was speaking affirmations to him when he was in my stomach.
Yes.
listening to meditation music. Like I was meditating with Layla and Zoe, which are my middle, and now they're 7 and 8. But that was
Uh-huh.
that was a point in life where I like had gotten sat back down and I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I was, even during that period, fighting to even find a meditation style that worked for me. It took years for me to find something that I was like, this works, and I just kept trying. But because I had so much work to do on myself, I don't think I could really pour into them the way I had poured into him, which is like the affirmations from jump. Like, I'm talking to
Yeah.
your belly, rubbing you like, you are great, you are amazing, you're gonna be so awesome,
Yep.
wonderful, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, and I still have that same vibe with him, you know. And I have a video actually that I had shared on Instagram. I think it's in my reels and maybe my IGTV, where I was like holding him, because he was always on my lives with me. If you go back, he's always trying to drink some milk. That's
Yeah.
But he would also just like you could tell he was like listening, he like looking
Yeah.
at himself and stuff. But
Yeah.
there was one where I was like speaking life and I was saying affirmations, and he was like super tiny. He was only like 2 or 3 months, and you could see his body. He was like, you know, they be their head,
Yeah.
they can't write. He's like, you can see him,
Bobblehead.
you are amazing. And he was like, but it just shows me how powerful that is when we're pouring into that energy of the self-belief, right?
Yeah.
That overflow. This is overflow energy, right? What does the sun do? The sun blocks out everything. You can't even, right? You can't look at the sun.
Yeah.
And that's the energy and the power we have within ourselves. That's why the I am hits the way it hits. And that
Yeah.
was your affirmation.
Yes.
You told me that you had gotten into meditation, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. And when I started writing after my meditation, there was a
Yep.
part that said, I am the I am that I am. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember in church, just like a Bible verse or something. I remember
Mm-hmm.
being in church, and every time I would hear that, I would feel so like, yes,
Yes, exactly.
are.
I
You know what I mean? And it just resonates with
do
me.
know. I do
Mhm.
know. I do know. Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's watch Carolyn Miss. She is like
Okay.
I was gonna say the godfather, the godmother
Yeah.
of chakras, and just putting it together to, that's why I love her so much, because she puts it together in a way that allows us to understand it and see for ourselves how that resonates with us. And it's not so woo woo that we're just like, what?
Right.
Like, I gotta do what with the crystal? You're like, I need a coach. this this clear quartz ain't working today. I'm sorry. I need someone to piece it together. So, and needless to say, I do want to echo too that I am just honored to share these spaces with you all. I'm just honored um, to be in a space of having healed, right? Because even with your son, right, even with the people around us, your mom, as you heal, your intuition is gonna guide you on how to stop dodging her spirit,
Yes.
but how to manage your own.
Mm.
So you see how that literally manipulates the energy of her. Right? This is
Yeah.
pure chemistry here.
Yeah.
I literally had a day, I'm telling you, 2020, I swear, God came through for me 2020. I'm not even gonna hold you. It started 2020, it was like really how it started versus how it's going on some real shit. The shit that I had
Yeah.
to, like, seriously. But like the
Mm.
first 2 months, 3 months, first 3 months, 4-ish months were just really hitting home, like on another level of growth. But how God came through for me, and just me just I had up leveled my game, because I realized all the stuff that I was learning, I had to put that shit in place. So I had to be Muhammad Ali every day. Right? I have no choice. I'm in a space where if I'm not saying this shit, who else is gonna believe it? Ain't nobody coming to save me.
Right.
Who's coming to save me? And God put me in that position so I could rise up. But I literally had this one day where I was just having friction with somebody. And opposed to feeding into that friction, I called my energy back and I prayed for them. I swear to you, no lie. I did a podcast that day, that I prayed for you podcast. I was like literally crying. And I just was praying, and I'm like, I want to pray for everybody, because I had the reason why I prayed for you, because I had prayed for myself. So I was about to pray for myself, and I said, I have to share this with people. This moment and the depth of what I feel right now, it had transformed to just gratitude.
Yes.
And literally, I get a text. It was like a little money issue with somebody. I literally get a text of like, not, it wasn't the text, it was a notification that they had sent me money.
Yeah.
And that made me cry even more. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's so good when we are just obedient to spirit and
Yeah.
we stop trying to force shit and we learn how to transmute that energy. Now I'm not going to be stressed about it. I'm going to pray about it and let that shit go. Cry through it real quick, wipe it off, and go about my day.
Yep. Yes.
It's the transformation energy right there. But to literally be able to manipulate people's energy because you realize you only have control over yours. And going back to the sacral chakra, that representation that she showed of how energy literally penetrates energy. That when people are being manipulative towards you, they literally you have become the puppet. You have literally become in their control of when they react to something. If they're anxious, if they're whatever, then you are, you know, they're creating the energy and the dynamic, opposed to you saying, wait, I have the power too.
Right.
Like, come on, spiritual yogi, like, no, we are not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's play this.
In your external world. These are all survival centers of power in your body. Every one of them. How you survive within a group or community, how you survive one-to-one, and then this one is how you work with yourself in survival power. So the numbers go from great to one-on-one to the self. So in your third chakra, you have your center of self-esteem. You have your center, it's the chakra that carries not only your center, your feeling about yourself internally, but also how you feel about your physical body. This is your center of confidence, okay? This is your center of honor. This is where your honor code is. I'll tell you something about honor. It's one of those things that until I wrote Anatomy of the Spirit, I had absolutely no idea of the role that honor played in the maintenance of our health during the process of healing. None whatsoever. And then as I began to work from the position of honor, kind of becoming more and more aware of it in the people with whom I was working in either workshops or doing readings on, because every now and again I sneak readings into my workshops or whatever. I realized that people who truly had a sense of honor, which means they kept their word, they understood the significance of what it meant to hold on to a secret that another person has said, can I share a grief with you? Can I share a trauma with you? Will you honor my confidence? And they put it into their third chakra and said, it's safe with me. What happens with that is you're literally taking some of your precious energy, your precious life force, and you're saying, here, give me that grief for a while. I'll put it in here because it doesn't cost me anything. I can hold it in my system. While your system, think of it as an energetic ulcer. While your system repairs itself, because this grief doesn't hold any power for me. I could hold it in my pocket forever, and it just doesn't have power, right? But if you turn around and you can't, I mean, that's a sense of honor. You got to understand that's a part of your honor. It also means the manner in which you conduct yourself and how you see others. It's difficult for me to say this, but I really do believe it, and I mean today. And that's that we've become rather a dishonorable culture, in which we focused far more on the management of each other's dishonor than the expectation that we're dealing with an honorable person. We show up at every one of our meetings armed with 17 lawyers. No matter who says what to us, we figure every possible meaning of what these words could not mean, and we write our laws accordingly so that we capture someone within the parameters of vocabulary witnessed by a lawyer. I mean, we don't even trust that our leaders have any honor. We live in a very challenging time when it comes to this part of our lives, and honor and your personal honor code live here. And I want to point something else out. Energy not only comes in, it comes in and then it rotates right back up, because you connect your energy to the ground, you make your contribution to the physical earth, and then you pull in the returns on your investments. Okay? Honor lies right in the third chakra, right before you enter into your energetic system of your heart, your will, and your mind. It's as if you need some sense of integrity, some sense of endurance, to be able, the capacity spiritually to say to the gods, to God, whatever you want to call the source, you want me to do something for you. I have, and say to God with your honor code, I have the strength, I can endure. What do you want me to carry? Because this is your center of endurance. Personal strength, personal respect of yourself. I mean, can you give your word to yourself and keep it? Never mind someone else. Can you say to yourself, that's it, I've had enough of you. You are exercising starting tomorrow. And then the next morning you get up like this, and you're lying down, and you say that you got the thought, exercise. It drops to your will, which means you got to choose it or not. And your will says, I'm sleeping. And it drops to your heart. And your heart says, well, maybe I'll put my energy in it or not. You can't control it, and it drops to your third chakra, and your third chakra says to you, excuse me, but you've just broken your word to me again. And I just want to point that out. And that when you do this, you don't understand, you really develop a very powerless relationship with yourself. And if you have that, how in the world can you have an empowered relationship with somebody else?
Woo!
Do you really think it's possible? I don't. Not at all. And you'll live in the assumption that every single person is going to be, has been, or is in the present moment dishonorable to you. You'll assume it. Okay? Now, part of the wonderful thing about this third chakra is that it makes you, either in this life or another life, because of how it can absolutely cause trouble in your internal zone, you have to grow to a point to settle your third chakra in, to make it, to go through the process of empowerment. You've got to learn what it means to maintain strong personal boundaries. Now, that's a very difficult stage in personal development. Why? Because you start by learning tribal boundaries long before you get to the point of personal boundaries. You start to learn the boundaries of the house long before you learn what it means to have the boundaries of your room, right? And as you change those boundaries from physical space to personal space, you're going through a huge transition, especially if you come from a tribal situation where the tribe's notion of boundaries remains physical and you've evolved to emotional, psychological. You're speaking two different languages. But when you have poor personal boundaries, you're going to fall into this pattern. You'll start immediately giving your energy over to someone else because you need their approval. Okay? Because that's what matters to you, is their approval, not how much you approve of yourself, but whether they said something nice to you that day. Now, think about that. I just want to put this in proportion. I'm not telling you to change. I just want to give you a proportional attitude here, a proportional view of how preposterous this is. Now, imagine. You get up in the morning, you have your whole life in front of you that day. All of your creative energy, everybody you know, anything you want to do with yourself, and you dress for this one person whose approval you want. You form your language for this one person whose approval you want. You figure out your whole life schedule for this one person. Now, do you really think it's worth it? No. I just want to ask you. Just good. But do you do it? Go like this now. Go like this. Okay. So, but this is your center for approval. This is also the center, of course, because it's personal boundaries. And if you don't have strong personal boundaries, just as a consequence of that, you are going to become manipulative. You have no other choice. Front door, you're going to go in through the back door.
Okay. I love how she ended, the part we ended on was you're going to become manipulative or you get easily manipulated. It goes either way, so remember with these chakras, it's either the imposing upon others, right? So you can see where people have overactive chakras, right? The overactive throat chakra is you talk over people. You don't know how to listen. You don't want to listen. You refuse to listen. You have to yell to get your point across, So definitely keeping all those things in mind. There were so many things that she said that I think really hit. And, more than anything, this is what we do in this work is seeing all the angles at which we approach life, and you literally can start feeling, I feel that shit in my fucking stomach. She talks about it. I see, your nervousness is there. That's where the tension builds up. I used to have stomach issues for years. Just like I was so used to just having a stomach ache. Like I felt like I got used to my stomach just kind of aching a little bit. And now I even know, like, literally, the more you pay attention to your body, you're going to start feeling them it's like a little pain. It's just like, it literally reminds me of like a light when you're like a traffic light, like your body just kind of like lights up, like, and it's just showing you like, and then you just have to get to it. Like, oh, what am I feeling right now? And why am I feeling that? And a lot of times for me, it's just like, just feel through it. Don't make it what it's not. See it for what it is. Honor how you feel about it. Does it honor yourself? Do you feel just like asking yourself all these wisdom asking questions? That's what we talk about in Returning to Your Throne. Wisdom asking questions. So you start getting your mindset mastery into, we go to wisdom every time because that's the only thing that's going to keep you not above water. We're not doing above water no more. That's survival.
Right.
We're going to be thriving because that's where our mind stays all the time. I think it was SZA who had that quote where she's like, sometimes I got to talk to myself like, no, bitch, we don't have time for this. We have shit to do. We have shit to do. It's not about you. You don't need to think how they're like all that shit we were just saying. I don't got to think how that person's thinking, right? Where she talked about honor. You don't honor yourself. So you already approaching other people like they're dishonorable. And it's so true. Right? So maybe you did it with somebody else, but once you learn it, you're like, nah, I'm not moving like that no more. I'm not moving like that no more. Because again, I think we said this in the first one, is it them or is it you?
Yeah.
And when we turn them into I, well, how have I allowed myself to be okay with this energy? How have I allowed myself to, what is it in me that's in this person? Me looking in the relationship, I had to really sit down and write some shit out. Like, what kept me here? And I think I illustrated that in the poem that I shared with Toxic Relationship, just self-reflections of like how it felt. And it's not to shame other people. It's not to put other people down. I really always try to disclose that we are attracted to where we're at.
Yes.
You met them unhealed. You met them feeling broken. Are you ever really broken? No. Ever? No, that's impossible. It's impossible. The soul can never have holes. It's the mind, right? Things that break your heart trigger your mind. Things that break your heart break your mind, right? And depending on your willingness to allow those things to continue to break you and continue to create narratives and conversations in your mind that you don't grab a hold of, that's really where the solar plexus relinquishes its power. And you stay right down in the sacral, in the root, not feeling guided, not feeling supported. And I think most of us, and I feel like most people that I meet and most people that I work with, we kind of teeter a little bit, because that's kind of what I was doing. I used the awareness and the work to, that was one of the things I almost had shame and guilt about leaving the relationship, because I do the work and because I help people do the work also became something that allowed me to personally teeter, to personally feel like I was growing, which I was. But the growth that I saw in 1 year, the growth that you've seen in 2 days, shows you that whatever the fuck you were doing, that's some bullshit. Let's call it what the fuck it is. That's some bullshit.
Yes. Because last night I was like, cleaning up, I was like, this is different.
Mm.
Listen, I've done healing journeys, the journaling,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this feels different,
Yes.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me excited. It's like, yeah, I don't care how tired I am. My girlfriend want to come over for drinks. Nope, can't do it. I have class at 9:30. Nothing's getting in the way. I let everything get in the way before, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing's getting in the way. Like, so when she said that thing about, what did she say? About the powerless, oh, you develop a powerless relationship with yourself.
Mm.
That was like a gut punch. Like, that's
Mm.
it. That is it. That's why, like, I anticipate that you're going to dishonor me. You're going to disappoint me. Because I've been doing it to myself.
And you just represent it. You represent what I am.
Like, so yeah, so that, yes, it's like, that's dumb as hell. I'm not doing that shit no more. Like, that's how I feel about it now. Whereas before it's like, oh, it's so, no, it's like
Mm-hmm.
pretty easy. I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm gonna honor myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna honor myself. I
Mm-hmm.
did it today. You'd be proud of me. My man friend called me about some picture on IG he didn't like, and usually I'd get all nervous and like, oh God, I wanna, and I don't want him to be upset. It's like, um, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should even justify that foolishness with the response. Give me a second. So I sat with myself, because usually, again, I would get so nervous and like, oh, I got to fix it. And I'm like, that's dumb. And no, I'm not changing it. I feel good about it. So I said, listen, I can't tell you how to feel, but that's ridiculous. Okay, we're not doing that. Do you need a hug? And it's so different from how I would respond before, because before I'd be running to like, oh, I don't want you to be mad. No, actually, no, I'm not doing that. I'm honoring
We got a
myself.
whole nother level, because the next level is like, okay, in 60 seconds or less, hold the fuck up. Don't ever call me about some shit I post online.
Ever,
But
ever,
again, let's really go back to that. That's irrelevant, because I'm listening to you like, she's so nice. She's so nice.
right.
I'm not that nice. I'm really not.
Yeah.
I'm really not. In my
Mhm.
past life, in my old jobs, everybody used to be like, Ebony's a bitch. But see, my solar plexus was overactive.
Yes.
I was the overactive ass solar
Yeah,
plexus.
yeah.
But again, that's representing that to me. I'm just gonna call it for how I see it.
Mhm.
Like, to me, that energy is very manipulative.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a fucking it like social media is in the ethos. Do people
Right.
understand that? It's in the ethos. It's
Right.
literally a fucking construct built of numbers and
Yeah.
systems and
Yeah.
things that you can't see, like Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So if I
Right.
choose to put something up there, whether it offends you or not, the people that support you and love you are never going to put you in a situation where you have to explain yourself. You
Right.
never have to explain yourself to authentic, genuine people in your life.
Right.
You never have to be put in a space. Again, what did I say in the beginning? You have to pay attention to the spaces you're in that trigger you. That is a problem. The places
Yeah.
where you're supposed to be are ease, calm, and flow. But because of
Yeah.
the toxicity that we believe like relationships have friction. Now there's certain shit that's showing you, do you want to deal with that shit 2 years down the
Right.
road? What
Right.
is that seed going to manifest into? What is that seed going to bring about?
Right.
And it shows, again, a powerlessness within yourself, because it is foolish. That's childish. That's like some shit you call your son to tell him, take it down. You ain't nobody's child.
Yeah. And he even say, take it down. I was like, is he really? Wait till it's on my story. It is literally a picture of my kneecap in the bathtub.
Girl, I don't even want to hear no more, because I'm already mad for you. I told you I have overactive solar plexus
I
energy.
told him, I said, you're not really mad. I know you can't really be mad. So I'm not even giving this energy, okay? Mwah. And I hung up the phone. And we're not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm tired. As God told me last night, that's why I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I had a post that was like that. It was like, you're not tired, you're not lazy. Your spirit is just getting back to a state of ease, calm, and flow. And it's a relearning. And I want you to, Tamika, please, by the end of this, I want you to really look at the things you've allowed to surround you and allow them to show you what energies you still hold on to. And do you, in the elevation of self, and I said this today in my little TikTok, when we elevate, if you really do desire to elevate, you also equally, and I said this twice today, and I think it's just been on my mind because it's so true, you equally have to let a lot of things go quicker.
Yes.
Quicker, even if it disappoints. And this shows you what you're afraid to get over, what you're afraid to do, whether you're like, oh, it makes me nervous and I would get anxious. And it's like, there are levels to this, right? So it goes from anxiousness to now you've transformed it a little bit and you're like, wait, hold up, right? And then there's another level to it that's like, damn. Like for me, I sometimes be like, that person really thought they could try me. What did I do that really made you feel like you could try me?
Right.
You know, or that was okay, or that conversation was okay. And what am I afraid to do? What am I afraid to do? Because a lot of times that leads to me being like, well, where do I have to set my boundaries? And what things do I have to say to get my point across so clear that we aren't having this conversation again? This is not going to be another thing. And sometimes it's like, that's a thing that to me, I would feel like I got to have a whole conversation with you tomorrow about, like, remember when you did this? Like, nah. And we talked about this before, which is like stating your point to where there are no forms of miscommunication. I'm going to tell you that in listening to the response, it sounds a little like, it's like passive aggressive, right? It doesn't state authority. Like, okay, no, we're not doing that. Love you. But you don't even get none of that. None of that at the end. None of that. Because it's representing to you where you've relinquished your own power and control over yourself. Whether you can post a thong picture if you decide to. You are a grown whole ass woman.
Right.
Not married.
I'm not married.
Right?
I don't have on my finger.
What did somebody post? This dude posted today. He said, we dating or you my hoe. So you got to pick one. Either we're dating and you don't talk to nobody else, or you're my hoe. Like, and we both have to be determined what you're doing. You want to be my hoe? Then, because we might be like, yeah, bro, I ain't ready to be there yet. Let me be the hoe.
Right.
I'm down. What hotel? She got a whole song. She's talking about splurging on your nigga, and she like, you know, when your friends ask you what it was, you gotta tell them it's the D, because you know, at women, we gotta be honest. You know how it is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's the D. It's the D. The D got you whipped, and it's okay if you want to be in that space. Then use it to the best of your ability and enjoy that shit.
Yeah.
You've never enjoyed it before, okay? Light you a Chakra chakra candle, okay? Tonight to get you in the mood. But also, you know, it's really like, what are your experiences around you right here, right now, manifesting to you? What are they triggering within you? What are they showing you where you still have to create boundaries? I believe this is the chakra. It doesn't say it anything where I wrote it, but I'm gonna say it because I feel it. This is a chakra of boundaries.
Yeah.
Right? Because if this is that energy of like, this is what we're not going to do.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And even if I have to talk to you tomorrow, because I got to really process this and gather this and figure out how I'm going to say it in a way that hits you. So, you know, don't play with me.
Yeah.
Like, just, that's what we're not, like, wholeheartedly. And if you are triggering me away, or you're creating scenarios, then that might mean that it's just a representation of energy that I've outgrown, that I just, you know, and it's a misalignment. We're trying to put a circle into a square. You know how babies be sitting there trying to force it through. You like, bro, it's the other ones. Move it down. That's my Levi all the time, baby. Move it down. He gets in there. Move it down, not the one. And that always reminds me of life, you know. And I talked about on the Clarity podcast where I had to really sit and think to me, you know, because life has friction.
Yeah.
And the confusion of it is, right? Pain is love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's friction in love, but it's not fucking pain. Somebody who fucking loves you is not going to break your heart, tear it in half, rip it to shreds, and eat it.
Right.
Right? you're not going to feel that.
Mm-mm.
Right? It has friction. And I had to learn the difference between the two. And that's that eating your heart scenario. That's the put in the fucking the square into the circle into the square, whatever. The wrong piece into the wrong place. That's the
Yeah.
friction you feel. Cause you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm trying to get it in. It's like, this hurts because it's the wrong shit. And when are we gonna start seeing for ourselves that we are out of alignment?
Yes.
Because you're too triggered, and you just have to go there and be like, damn, I feel insecure, I feel unloved, I feel like I need this, I feel I have a codependency issue. I learned that through my therapy last year. Oh, you're codependent as fuck.
Yeah.
Right, where you get into that sacral chakra, and now you're the manipulator. I'm like, we got this dynamic. What did I say mine was? Where I would give silence, he would give emotional unavailability. Right, I talked about the dynamic of what we had created, which was so toxic. It just bred more toxicity, but neither one of us could see. But once I'm starting to wake up, I'm like, hold the fuck up. Okay, this is not helping me grow. It's not helping you grow. But if I stay here in this space with you, we're just going to keep having scenarios. That's all there's going to ever be. When it comes to you, just like with anybody else in your life, in your family, you can think about people in your family. Like, they always got drama.
Yeah.
Always got some shit that's going on with them.
Yeah.
Always got a story, always got something happen. Can you believe it? This happened. Or people I know in my family who they always in the emergency room. You know, I had a spider bite and I just had to go to the emergency room, and I was sniffling, and I'd be like, that's your choice. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't counsel people like that no more. I used to. I don't counsel people like that no more. But
Yeah.
God, that's what I'm saying to them. But God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's when the day I decided for sure to leave my ex-husband, I literally woke up in the bed. Same elephant was on my chest that had been there for years. I looked at him. I looked in the mirror, looked at him again, and I was like, I don't have to feel like this anymore. I'm not gonna feel like this anymore. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, I am choosing to be miserable. I don't choose that anymore. I want to be happy. You're miserable. I'm miserable. Why are we doing this? Let's just stop. Literally, like, that's how I told him. He's like, what do you, so what, I want a divorce.
Catherine says she felt that.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the thing too. Men are so different. One, because they don't, we as healers create spaces for healing.
Right.
That's our nature. Men are not nurture
At
people.
all.
We are nurture people. So we know how to nurture the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They know how to build the soul. They're your empowerment. Like, get up, go, Eric Thomas, get up, go.
Yeah.
You really want it, right? You better go get it, right? And we're like, and while you're getting it, remember,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like in those spaces, with men, it's like they don't, when you don't know thyself, right? This is the chakra. When you don't know yourself, you don't know your levels of happy. In the things that men have believed, they've also believed in the pain and the struggle for. And men, they say women will take a lot of pain. I feel like men have a very skewed view of happy, right? Because they're very minimalistic in their needs.
Yeah.
Place to live, some hot vagina, hot
Yeah.
food. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, I need the bag, the car, the house, the food, the clothes, the this, the that, the makeup, the this, my hair done, my nails done, everything did. If it ain't, it ain't tricking. If you got it, I'm just trying to tell you. Right? And they're like, sis, and they'll do all that for us.
Yeah.
So to a degree, they see things very differently. So to them, it's like, what? How you not happy? And how we not? And we've been doing this all this time, and I've been with you for this long, and you seem happy, and the sex is good, and you like, bruh, but that's your awakening of I am, and in the I am of I am, this is a misalignment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're not looking, you woke up and stopped looking through pain.
Yes.
The pain and the triggers keep us in spaces for too long that we should not be. And I personally when I say I don't have time for nobody, my cutoff game, and it's not out of, I used to cut off people in pain. I'm not cutting you off in pain anymore.
Yeah.
It's all really with love. Like, I still want to be your friend.
Yeah.
But this right here is not in alignment with who I'm designed to be. And it's okay. And I'm thankful for the experience, because It's getting me prepared and ready for the thing that I need to be prepared and ready for. Just like all the jobs we've been fired for, just like all the things that didn't work out, just like all the wrong turns, just like all the other things in life that redirected us to a new turning point. You living in Syracuse, you moving there, that wasn't out of like, I want to go there, and you looked on the map and was like, I need to go there, I'm gonna be prosperous there, let me make that move, right? But it redirected you to another level, some way, shape, or form. And we have to look at other things, especially the personal relationships, going back to the sacral chakra, in the same breath. We have to look at them in the same way. And I'm gonna keep saying this because I really learned this in 2020. You know, what do I have to let go of next? And if you're aware of your buffers, you have to also be aware of, what do I need to do to create boundaries? And what was my other word? What was my other B word?
Bounce back.
Bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Of getting back to myself, so I'm not experiencing things that are out of alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
My outer world is a representation of my inner world, and if I know that these things are just showing me of where I'm at, right?
Mm-hmm.
My son is showing me, oh, like the outer world of this parenting journey is showing me that the work that I'm doing on myself is manifesting through him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm healing parts of my child. When you hear parts of your child, you literally, that's why they say you heal generations before you and the ones that come after you. This is a real time thing. People don't understand energy. You're healing the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's not in your womb anymore, but that connection is always going to be there. That's the power of energy and healing, is that in real time, it's affecting who he's becoming, right? And in the same breath, it helps heal people before us, the elders, the ones that are alive. I mean, for them, it creates friction for them within themselves, because you're breaking down the paradigm of what they know to be true. Whether you're like, as a mom, Ma, he's fine. Why are you telling me how to? The boy got his own mind. I don't got to raise him like that. And I'm his mother, and he's a whole child on his own. And this is how I'm going to raise my son. And you don't have to comment on that anymore. And I would appreciate if you didn't.
Right.
I'm parenting him how I desire to parent him. You parented how you parented, and that's fine. And that's what you did, and that's fine. This is a new generation. Every generation, things change. Music, outside circumstances. Why am I going to parent him the way you parented me? And that's a wake-up call for them. And either they receive it or they don't.
Right.
And that's not your problem. At all. At all. This is elevation on so many levels. So we're going to step into our healing space, and we're going to meditate. So let me put on my copyright free music, because you know YouTube is always dinging me.
Are they?
They really do. They don't play. They can hear you play something. They can hear you play 15 seconds of a something.
Yeah, and yeah, I know.
Damn, y'all. Sharing is caring. So I just got to make sure I write. Well, this is my copyright free, but in the future I have to make sure I write the, I don't own the rights, or I guess I'll be forgetting to do that. I guess I got to put that in there. But even still, if I do that, it doesn't matter. I'm still, on the YouTube platform, they ding you in that way, so you can't monetize the video, which this is not for that, but still it's like, let me just use my copyright free music, which I literally manifested this. I literally one day talked about how I needed somebody. I forgot. I don't know if I was doing a project. I think it was a project where a business was doing a conference, and they asked me to record a specialized meditation for their conference. And I was like, I was saying out loud, I said, I need to get copyright free music, because I had purchased some copyright free music, and it ended up being it was copyrighted, which I was so pissed. And they ended up deleting their profile, like this person that made music for me. And I get an email of like, I came across your YouTube. I see you do meditations. Here's a link to my free meditations. You get 5 of them. All you have to do is like put this in your bio when you use them, and like enjoy. And I was like,
whoa.
Oh my God, it's so good. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I said for you, you're that person who's swimming that just needs to stand up.
Yeah.
Your alignment is so on point. And now it's like, well, what is out of alignment that's distracting me from purpose? That's distracting me from clarity? That's distracting me from my highest self? That's distracting me from the new levels of what that I'm obtaining. Like last year, I had my phone on do not disturb a lot.
I'm starting
Because I was literally just in spaces where I'm like, I don't need to talk to nobody. I don't need nobody calling me right now. Like, I just need to be in this space. And sometimes I'd be watching Netflix. Sometimes I would like go buy really good food for myself. Like, this is all the healing, which is like inner child, cooking good foods for yourself, listening to music, not touching your phone, like just letting it, put it down somewhere. You don't know where it's at. Watching some, binging on Netflix, that was big for me. And we're going to get into this meditation, but like, I'm such a go work person, as a defense mechanism and a buffer. We talked about this, a buffer to my pain. My pain is all right, I'm gonna just work. Right? So where me watching Netflix, and even my friend called me one day, I think she called me on my birthday, and she could see the blue glare from the TV. She was like, oh, Ebony Tatora is watching. You have the TV on? I'm like, yes. I'm watching a Netflix series. Like, and it's just funny that people see that about you and know that about you. Like, yo, sis, she'll never watch no TV. Like, when y'all be talking about shows, I'll be like,
well, when you said in the first day that news and the media disrupts your root chakra,
yes,
I'm not watch the news. And people will tell you, like, I'm a CNN, you know, I'm into politics and I like to debate and all that other kind of stuff, you know. I have not. And when I turn on my YouTube, I have YouTube TV, it comes immediately on because that's usually what I watch, right? Oh no, like I'm like, oh God, no. You all ever since we started, what 3 days ago, 2 days ago, I have not watched the news, anything. I won't. And I feel a difference. I'm not going to sleep with my TV on. I'm sleeping like a baby, like a baby every night.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is good. I'm gonna keep this. I don't need all that. I even told my sister and our friend, we have this text chat about politics and everything. I said, listen, y'all, I'm tapping out. I'm doing something really special this week. I can't really connect to all of this. And she's like, you're special. I am. I'm special. So I put that little texting on do not disturb.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yes. Ashe, touche, all that. I love that. And that's the thing, is that you feel it. So my motto for last year was follow what feels good. If you don't know anything else, just follow that. It's like little breadcrumbs. And the minute it don't feel good, you know that already. Maybe you can't discern anything else, but you know, does it feel good?
Yeah.
Not feel good. And leave it at that. Let that be the decision maker. All right, so here we go. Have you close your eyes. Make sure I turn this music down. Let me make sure I pull it up on iTunes though. So you're gonna hear it playing twice. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Let me turn this off. Okay. Where are you playing? All right. And you can hear me. Is my voice loud enough? If you guys want to type in the chat, is my voice loud enough? Yes? I can't hear you. Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, great. All right, so just close your eyes. And we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just releasing all the tension, all the built up energy in our stomach areas that blocks us from alignment, that blocks us from our sun, and the power to know, the power to change, the power to transmute any energy into what we desire it to be. Again, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Give yourself permission to make that releasing breath, that healing, cleansing breath. Give yourself permission to release again. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Again, in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time. In through your nose, out through your mouth. As we step into a higher vibration of solar plexus energy, solar plexus awareness and consciousness, we allow ourselves to feel, to heal, and to honor our own light. We allow ourselves to step into a place of peace, of serenity, of surrender, of I am who I am because I am. Before we begin, I want you to remember that ease, calm, and flow is your natural state. First, relax your eyes and your eyebrows. Just wiggle them up and release the tension you're holding in your crown. Relax your jaw and your tongue, allowing it to drop down from the roof of your mouth. Relax your shoulders. Just give them a roll. Just releasing your energy, lifting them up to your ears. Just releasing your energy. Relax your arms and your hands. Relax your legs, your feet, your stomach, and your back. Just allowing it to settle into what you really are, into the power of who you truly are. And as you focus on this energy, I want you to go back to a memory, a time. And you're going to see this situation and this circumstance in a third person point of view, which means you're going to be seeing above it. You're going to be who you are now, seeing your child self. And I want you to see the scenarios and the experience in which you can honor your power. An experience where you dishonored your ability to say, I am. I am. Breathe in through your nose and hold. And breathe out through your mouth. And understanding the masculine energy behind the sun. I want you to even think about your father wound. What did you learn? What did you learn about the masculine energy in your life? Did it create discrepancies in your ability to love yourself? Did it create unworthiness and holes in which you feel that pain? As you see these moments and these experiences, I want you to give them light, give them love, and being teachers of showing you not only how worthy you are, but how when others feel unworthy, they simply project that onto us, doing the best that they personally can. In this power, you're going to step into a space of forgiveness, of surrender, of release. Because as we transform and transmute these experiences, we have to let them go. Breathe in through your nose and hold, and breathe out through your mouth. And as you leave these experiences, wishing them love and light because they cannot come with you, I want you to see yourself rising up higher and higher into the sky until you're into a space surrounded by darkness and stars. And as you float within the universe, you become nothing. You know nothing. You are not hindered by your experiences. They cannot weigh you down because they don't exist. The only thing that exists in this space is you and the power to just be. You are surrounded by immense love, immense grace, a whole team of guides sent to help you along your journey every step that you take, waiting for your permission to serve you. Breathe in through your nose and hold, and breathe out through your mouth. And as you breathe into this experience of just being, of freedom, of the true freedom we all seek in our daily lives, I want you to think of the possibilities, the dreams of your most powerful self, the dreams of your most abundant self, the dreams of your most confident, secure, loving self. Breathe in through your nose and hold, and breathe out through your mouth. As you see yourself in this power, I want you to listen to these affirmations and know that they vibrate at a level of truth. I want you to focus on this truth and allow it to resonate down to the tips of your toes, to the top of your head. I am strong and powerful in a loving manner. I am able to set boundaries and to stand my ground firmly when needed. I assert myself and claim my space in a loving manner. I can do it. I have the strength. I let go of authority issues I have within this chakra. I see the differences in others as unique expressions that only make this life even more interesting and more colorful. I use my drive and passion to improve my life as well as the life of others. I get things done. I attract the help and loving people that I need. I am. I love and appreciate myself for who I am. I will stand up for myself and be heard. I will make my own choices in life. I am receptive to all of the good that the universe has to offer. Breathe in through your nose and hold, and breathe out through your mouth. Right now, I am happy, healthy, and fulfilled within my life. I control my thoughts. Therefore, I am in control of my reality. I am free of anger. Instead, I see myself and others through compassion and understanding. I am thankful to release stress, anxiety, and thoughts that no longer serve me. Breathe in through your nose and hold. And breathe out through your mouth. And just allow the music to guide you and to soothe you in this healing space. Deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. One more deep healing breath in and out through your mouth. Just honor this space that you've honored yourself in. Honor the space of I am who I am because I am. No external validation needed. No external validation needed. From this point forward, may you know that, understand that, breathe that, walk that, talk that, and eat that. Because you are I am. And whatever you say after those two words will always be true. May it be beautiful, powerful, and standing firm in who you are, in alignment with who God has called you to be. Breathe in through your nose and hold, and breathe out through your mouth. Cleansing breath in, cleansing breath out. Healing breath in, healing breath out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Yeah.
How you feeling?
It's a little bit muffled.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. You're like, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, I expected to cry a lot today, but I'm not crying today. Um, it's different. Yeah, it's different.
Right. Because this is the love and light energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the let light in energy.
Mm.
Right. This is a transformation energy. And it feels good, and it teaches you to follow what feels good, so you don't have the knots in your stomach, you
Yes.
don't question so much, so you don't, the I am, it's just, you just can't, there's no, it's just, there's no, there's just really no explanation of it. It just is. And when you live in that power and we feel this power of activation, the wounds really are in the lower chakras and totally when we get into the heart.
Yeah.
You know, but it is about where do we relinquish our power. And like you said, the thing that stuck out, which is the powerlessness you have within yourself, people display it within you, right? Because you're always teaching people how to love you. And when they don't love you in a way that suits you, when I develop boundaries, it's because, and I just wrote this quote right now, my boundaries are to keep my good shit in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do them to keep people out.
Mm. Well,
That's
that's
a
deep.
different energy,
A whole different energy.
right? I'm not doing things to keep you out. I'm keeping my good shit in. And when I feel like you're infiltrating and you're trying to penetrate my good energy, my boundary that I've set, you know, for me, I give, everybody's different. We all give people a certain amount of chances to do that to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where we stay in spaces too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, out of all the things I've been through and that I've learned through 2020, I just don't let people penetrate that space because I have such a level of peace. That's like my best attribute, that I don't even know my essence, that people say, oh my God, I love your energy. Oh yeah, so yeah, I just want to be around me.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, it's not that they don't want to lose you, they don't want to lose.
Oh, that's deep.
Right? Because they're so triggered because you bring up their abandonment, you bring up their mommy issues, you also bring out something for them that they've never felt before. You're healing for them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's on so many levels for so many different people. But this energy is just such a beautiful energy of
Mm-hmm.
I am. But really going back to those childhood memories where we all know, where we just like relinquished our power and we started having stories in our mind. Like my story was, part of my silence and me giving people silent treatment was because that also equaled safety.
Mm.
And then I repeated it in the domestic violence relationship that I was in, where silence equaled safety. I then manifested that.
Mm.
In my relationship, silence meant safety because every time I felt like I was going to talk, there was a period in our relationship where I just felt that blow up energy, and I'm like, oh, just don't say nothing, Ebony, just be quiet. And then I end up blowing up weeks later, and I got a whole laundry list of all the things that I'm mad about. I'm not writing long paragraphs anymore. Everybody's getting okay from here on out. Except for if I have to tell you about yourself, right? And except for if I know discerning from a discerning perspective that this is a time that I do need to speak and assert my power.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes the okay is also passive aggressive, where you're being passive and you're allowing it to pass, but internally it's bringing you an aggression and a triggering energy that you have to deal with, you have to figure out. So this is a super empowered energy.
Yes.
This affirmation of this chakra is, I honor the power within me. I honor myself.
Mm-hmm. That was huge.
And as we grow, we disappoint people because who we used to be, we're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I used to like Kool-Aid, bro. I don't like Kool-Aid no more. I didn't grow up.
Yeah.
And that's what really, really is. Like I was talking to my brother today about my father, and it's like my father, I have so many family members that I can think of. Most of adults, the reality is most adults, wisdom is the maturity of the spirit. This is what this is what this chakra is. Spiritual adulthood equals wisdom. If you don't have wisdom, you are forever in a child mind.
Yes. Yep.
You are forever in your childhood mind and your childhood fears. Yes, you pay bills. Yes, maybe you got a little bit successful. Whatever it is, everybody's story is different. But some people, just because you age doesn't mean you grow old and you grow wise. Wisdom is a sign of spiritual maturity and understanding who you are. I honor the power within me. I honor myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just that. So do you guys have any other feedback or anything you want to say before we skedoodle and have an amazing night? I just want to bring up, I had another angel number again. What numbers did we get yesterday? The same numbers.
Me too. It was yesterday, 11:22.
Well, there was another time that there was another number that came up. Actually, when y'all were meditating, when I had said something, and I always pay attention to that. Let me look. I felt like it was 1333. Let me pull up the music. Yeah, it was. So I'll read that real quick. Do you guys have anything you want to say? Catherine, thank you so much again. Sis, we speak healing life over you wholeheartedly. I don't know what you were able to do today. I know she texted me something saying someone has said to her, your brujeria powers are like really working, you know. The power to heal is so real. And this chakra, what I want to say too before we leave is that I am a spirit having a human experience.
Yeah.
I can't move through life as a human so much. But
Right.
also don't, we talked about this yesterday. It was like, but don't also equally get uber spiritual where you don't know how to be human. Like you gotta find a balance.
Yeah.
How to balance it out. The angelic number of 1333 is telling you that you should expect many changes in your life, especially on the emotional level. Be vigilant because you may go through difficult periods in your life, which could lead to a kind of imbalance or poor decisions or frustration. Triple mirror hours are sequences of repetitive numbers. So this is 1333. One second. Oops, hold on. This is also telling you that you have great leadership potential. You always know how to demonstrate courage, and you have the ability to devote your efforts towards helping others. You know how to give without expecting anything in return. Under the detached, depersonalized, and discreet influence, you will have the ability to make sacrifices. You have the mind of a visionary, someone who knows what has to be done and when. You gain your skills in meditation while also taking steps to gain a more peaceful and more fulfilled life. You move towards understanding the meaning of life and your reason for being here on this earth. You don't have to worry because your way, it says you will have your way, your way will be lit. And divine light will guide you. It's letting you know that you will be free from suffering, martyrdom, sorrow, torment, and much more. You're getting protected from all potential failures. As a testament to your faith, you will experience salvation, liberation, and purification. This angel number protects you from inflexibility, inquisition, religious wrongdoing, and all the opposed to spirituality. You're also protected from aggression, arrogance, and all kinds of hoaxes. If you are feeling lonely, rejected, or lost, you're being helped to get rid of any materialistic thoughts from your mind. Be vigilant because you may go through difficult periods in your life which could lead to an imbalance or poor decisions or frustration. This to me speaks to alignment.
Yes, 1000%.
Just align. Just align and know what that looks like and know what it looks like when it's out of alignment. Right? It's like when you're at a job and we all have those moments where anything with your husband. You just wake up and boom, you're just like a whole nother woman. Like I'm kind of laughing in my head as as I was visualizing it, I'm like laughing, like that's some funny shit. That's Lifetime all the way, right? I'm just like
that.
I really don't like you anymore.
I was tired of waking up with the elephant on my chest. I carried everything here, and my chest always hurt. It
Mm-hmm.
always felt. I just woke up that morning like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. It was like an epiphany. I woke up like I don't have to do this anymore.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be like that all forever.
Yeah. And we waking up tomorrow, Muhammad Ali.
Yes, I'm gonna be Muhammad Ali.
I
You
am.
know,
I said I am.
yes. I'm gonna get another one. My father, he's an artist and an author, but he painted this picture of Muhammad Ali that me and my brother fought over, and my brother got it. But I feel like I need to borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask him if I can borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in my room, and it's even more special because my dad drew it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or I like the ones. Actually, that's so funny you said Muhammad Ali. I just ended up following this artist. Did I end up following him today? Because I was on Clubhouse like majority of my day. I'm like, girl, get off Clubhouse. It's so good.
But I know
It's
that's
so
why I can shut it off because it's a rabbit hole.
it
You
is
just
so good.
yep.
So much great information and connections. It's so good. But I was gonna say I love those pictures that are kind of like the Andy Warhol
So yes.
of
Yeah, I know.
like a Muhammad Ali or whatever. But so let's just honor ourselves. If you guys don't have anything else, again, Catherine, thank you. Tamika, thank you for honoring. Like, thank yourself for honoring yourself. So we're just gonna start our hands at our heart. Breathe out. Dear God, we thank you. We thank you for breath. We thank you for living the life that we live today and stepping into a more passionate and fulfilled life. We thank you for honoring our heart today, dear God, our heart and our compassion, our ability to be compassionate actually towards others, a lot of times more than ourselves. We thank you for the grace over our lives to continue to push on. We thank you for the courage and the bravery to show up every single day. Taking it to your throat, we thank you for our ability to speak. We thank you for our ability to share our voice with the world and to honor ourselves and to continue to honor ourselves at new, higher levels of speaking our truth, even if it makes us uncomfortable, even if it disappoints others. We are not here to people please. We are here to learn, to grow, and to evolve. And we understand that people, places, and things can't always come with us on this evolution, and that is okay. Take it up to your third eye. Dear God, we thank you for sight beyond sight. We thank you for giving us vision. We thank you for allowing us to trust our vision, to trust the things that we see, and knowing there is a better life for us. There are new levels for us, and it is up to us to align with those new levels and to become the person we need to become. Keep your eyes closed, put your hands over your head. Dear God, we ask you may bless our crown chakra and our connectedness to you, our ability to stay connected to you at all times, our ability to step into the energy of healing, clarity, purpose, worthiness at all times, because but God, through anything we can persevere. Through God, through anything we can elevate. There are no obstacles or circumstances in the mind of God, which is in us, around us, and serves us now and forever. Take your hands back down, keeping your eyes closed. Put them by your heart and then flip them upside down to your solar plexus. We thank you for being empowered to be who we are. We thank you for the I am within us, the sun that lights our way, the light that lights our lives. Sometimes we don't know how we do it, but it is the light that shines a little bit of glimmer onto the possibilities of our next steps. We thank you for that. Take it down to your sacral chakra. Dear God, we thank you. We thank you for the ability to move in ease, calm, and flow in the divine feminine by honoring our womb space, by communicating with our womb and our life force, and our ability to create, our ability to feel, our ability to be feminine and divine, and to trust that energy, to allow it to flow through us and for us. Take it down to your root. Dear God, we thank you for keeping us safe, grounded, and supported. We thank you for the ability of keeping our roots strong and our belief in you strong, even though sometimes we didn't know what that was. We thank you for the life that we have. We thank you for waking us up again today to try again. Take your hands and put them over your heart. I love you all. I thank you. I honor you. I cherish you.
Love you too.
I got for y'all today. So I will see you tomorrow. Get ready for the heart chakra, Catherine, I'm also going to text you the chakra meditations that I listened to as well. I think you have Parajat. You should have Parajat by now because I know you've been with me for a minute. So if you don't, I'll send you both. But I love you both. Have an amazing night. Bask in this energy of
Yes.
I just am and I'm powerful.
Yes.
And I'm going to start owning that power because I have it within me. That I have that sun within me, and I want to let it grow. And as we align, that's what we do. It's just like this light. I'm going to show you exactly what it does. And this was the visual I was trying to give when talking about moving away from your light. When you move away from it, right, it gets dim.
Yeah.
And when you step into it and you allow God to move through you, it just you. That's why when people are like, oh my God, when I see you, you have such a light.
Yeah.
You bet I do.
Bet.
You bet I do. Because I'm activating that power within me, that power center. So I love you both. Have an amazing night. I will see you tomorrow at 9:30
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time. Lots of love and light. Later, babes.
Bye.
Bye.